What's happening, everybody? Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. And we're going to talk today about the boxes. Okay, now, I did a video not too long ago about the boxes and understanding, the 5 boxes, how they work, how they are a key, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to kind of assume that you watched that, remember that, have some familiarity with the boxes as a whole. Because what we're going to talk about is how most people practice them and how you really should practice them and why, okay? So not necessarily like a new lesson. I'm not going to show you new stuff, but if you do what I'm about to describe to you, you're going to learn a lot. And you're gonna make great strides in your ability to see the fretboard when you improvise. So, as always, really quick, if you want to know about the All Access program, go bgu.com/all access. There's got to be pushing 1,000 lessons up there by now. There's an awful lot, and there's 6 new ones every month, so it adds up quick. If you are interested in your free download, the How to Jam guidebook, go bgu.com/how-to-jam. The 4-note solo, if you want to get the mini course on the 4-note solo, go bgu.com/4-note solo. One more extra link for you today, and that is the go bgu.com/blues scale tool, because it's kind of a flashcard thing that I made. That's been around for a couple of years now, but it's surprising to me how often I mention that it's there and how few of my students actually know it's there and use it. As I found out today. I'm not calling him out. I told him I wasn't going to say his name in front of all the good people, but I did have a lesson earlier today, and this came up again, and it comes up a lot, okay? And that's kind of what makes me want to mention this, and I say I'm going to yell at you because you don't know your boxes. I know I said that earlier on Facebook, but this is really, really important, and it's a mental thing. And the student that I was working with earlier today is a guy who's played for years, right? He can play. He's got the scales. He's got the box. He's got some arpeggios. He's got all this good stuff. And as soon as I start to ask the questions that I'm going to pose to you and ask the questions a little bit differently, all of a sudden he felt like he'd never played these patterns before. And when that happens, you know you got a problem, okay? That should not happen to you, okay? So if you don't have your guitar in your hand, and it's possible for you to have your guitar in your hand, please grab your guitar and try to follow along with me. Now, of course, if you're watching this live, you're driving in your car, don't grab your guitar. That would be bad. But if you, maybe if you're watching this back later, you're seeing it posted up on my blog later on, or you are at home, later. Maybe you're going to watch this now and just watch, but later on, I do hope that you'll grab your guitar and you'll come back and try what I'm about to tell you. Now, earlier, too, I'm going to brush over one more thing, which is I look at patterns. Okay, we have the 5 boxes, right? So let's say we're in the key of A, right? Box 1, A minor. Box 2. Just so that we're all talking about the same thing, right? Box 3. Box 4. Box 5. And like I say, I've done other videos with that. It's out there. There's great ways to see that. If we're in a major, box 1 is down here. Box 2 is here. Okay? This root note right here, this A, allows me to show something that I call left facing, that being left towards the headstock, and right facing. So I'm talking about my left and my right. Okay, you might want to call it headstock facing. But notice that if I take that A, right, if I put my middle finger on it or my first finger on it, the rest of my fingers will all fall sort of to the right. There won't be any action going on down here to the left end of the fretboard. if I put my pinky on that note, all the action happens down to the left end. So I call that a left-facing pattern. Okay, so it's super important that you understand the difference between a right-facing pattern and a left-facing pattern, right? If I play A minor with my first finger here for box 1, I call that a right-facing pattern because all the action is happening to the right of my root finger. Okay? If I play box 5 off that same root, that's a left-facing pattern. All the action's happening to the left of my root, right? So please just do me a favor, and if anybody out there, if that makes sense to you, just chime in either on Facebook or YouTube. I don't care. Just chime in. Let me know that concept makes sense, because you're going to hear me talk a lot about left-facing and right-facing patterns, and it's absolutely critical that you realize that every root note you have, there's a pattern that goes left and there's a pattern that goes right. You have to be specific when you think about this. And the reason that it matters is because sometimes you find yourself in a predicament. Okay? And a predicament such as the predicament that my student found himself in earlier today, where he had a G9 chord. I told him, play a G9 chord. Right? And I said, okay, let's say that you're playing this G9 chord and you want to play a G minor scale around this area, right? Maybe you're playing a little rhythm and you want to throw in a little fill, right? So how are you going to do that? Well, you are never, ever, 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 ever going to be playing and think to yourself, man, if I only knew box 4 at the 10th fret, I'd be in good shape. It's never going to happen. Okay? It doesn't work that way. That's never where we find ourselves. In the music world, when we're playing a song, when we're playing a solo, when we're playing a fill, when we're doing something and we need to lean on and utilize these boxes that we practice, that's never how it comes up. But that's how we practice them. Okay? We go, okay, well, I'm in the key of A minor, so I'm going to play box 1 here, and I'm going to play box 2 here, and box 3, and box 4. And we call them all by number. Okay? And a lot of us do this, myself included, when I was younger. I absolutely did it that way. Okay? I absolutely did it that way. A lot of people do that. Almost all of them. It's everywhere. Boxes are taught this way. Boxes are learned this way. It's just the way it is. Okay? We all do it. So don't beat yourself up over it. But let's fix it. Okay? So it's never going to happen, like I said, that you're going to find yourself going, okay, I need to play box 4 at the 10th fret. It's never going to happen. What is going to happen is you're going to think to yourself, oh man, I got this chord. I got this G9 chord. I sure wish I had I sure wish I had a G minor pentatonic scale to go here. Okay, so now we've got a problem. Now we have a musical problem. I got a spot and I need a scale. I need a pattern. I got to be able to see how to play the G minor pentatonic scale right there. There's my G. There's that root note, right? Or there. Take your pick, right? But I've got one. So what I really need to be able to do is I need to be able to play the G minor or G major, whichever you prefer, but in this case, let's go with G minor pentatonic scale from this G. Okay? And that is something useful. And it happens to be box 4. Okay? But that's something useful that I can do. Or if I wanted a major blues, That's box 5. Right? Or maybe I'm playing like a C7. In fact, here's the thing for you to try. If you do have your guitar in your hands, I'm going to confuse you to make a point. And it'll be interesting. Maybe if you come back and you watch this video later, put this in the comments if this trips you up. But if I say, play in the key of C minor, play box 1. Okay? Hit pause, play box 1. Okay, most people will do the following. And they'll say, okay, key of C, that's the 8th fret. I'm going to play box 1. Right? And I'd say, perfect, you got it, okay? Now, the thing is that if I say, I want you to play, the next thing I want you to do is a C minor pentatonic scale, starting with a 4th string root. So your C is going to be on the 4th string. First, you got to find a C on the 4th string, obviously. But assuming that you can, it is at the 10th fret of the 4th string. Play a left-facing minor pentatonic scale. Now, again, if you're watching this later, pause the video and try that. My guess is that is going to turn your brain into oatmeal. That's usually what happens, okay? Here's the funny story. To do that, you're going to play exactly the same thing. Here's the C. The left-facing minor pentatonic scale from here is box 1 again. Okay? So the funny story about that is that literally just a couple of hours ago, I pulled that on my student who, and in his defense, I've pulled this on hundreds of them over the years. And I say, okay, play box 1. In his case, I did it in A. And then I said, okay, now play me a left-facing minor pentatonic scale starting from the A root on the 4th string. I said, and it's going to be box 1, but let's try it anyway. So I actually said it was going to be box 1. And here's a guy who's been playing his boxes, off and on for at least 2 or 3 years. And he hunted and hunted and hunted and hunted and tried some notes, but it never really came together because he's not used to looking at it that way. Okay? Needless to say, we're going to work on that. But I want you to work on that too. And that blues scale tool that I referred to you earlier, I gave you a link earlier, is invaluable for this sort of thing. And there's a video below it that shows you how to use it. It's free. Just go there and do it. If you will spend 15 minutes out of your day, each and every day, using that tool, there's no password, there's no sign up, there's no nothing. I made it absolutely free. Almost nobody uses it. And that's terrible because everybody should use it. Every student I have uses it. Well, I tell them to use it. Whether or not they actually use it is usually evident a few weeks later. But it is a fantastic tool for you to use to learn your minor pentatonic scale in a musical, useful way. Okay, not just this box on this fret, which isn't useful when you play music. Sorry. It's good to learn the pattern, right? It's yeah, your fingers have to learn the patterns. Okay, they have to learn how to make those movements. They have to learn how to do that. Yes. But in order to really be able to use them, they have to be useful to you when you're playing music and when you encounter musical things that they can solve. Okay, so that's kind of my big point today, is make sure that when you play these different boxes and these different scales and things like that, you can think of it like, for those of us that remember the old days where like you went to the library and you would look up the little cards, with a book, right? And there was oftentimes like an index, or like we think of box one. We have box one and we give it a name. I call it an index. Like we have a way that we think of box one. And so most people, if I say play the A minor pentatonic scale, they're going to play, box one. Okay, the mental connection up here says, when I need A minor pentatonic, play this pattern. Okay, that's it. Every once in a while, I will get a student who didn't learn box one first. Okay, most everybody learns box one first, so that's the anchor. The anchor to the minor pentatonic scale is box one. That shouldn't be the anchor. That should be an anchor. There should be lots of them. Okay, if somebody says to me, play A minor pentatonic, my first question is, in what register, in what region? Do you need it here? Sorry. Do I need it here? Right? It's still A minor pentatonic, but I'm moving it around the fretboard. That's how you want to be able to visualize it. You want to have A minor pentatonic bring up lots of options, not just the one. Okay, and by using, again, that blue scale tool, you can start to have more and more and more options. To start with, just pick any of them, right? When I first started trying to learn my boxes more in this way, it was because I was playing in a band and I kept realizing that I was getting lost all the time. Okay, and what I would realize is that I would be playing like an E, like this, with a 5th string root, and I didn't know how to play the minor pentatonic scale starting from the 5th string. I only knew how to play it starting from a 6th string root. And so I used to have to calculate. I used to think, okay, if I want that, that's E. I'd have to go, here's box 1, here's box 5, here's box 4. Okay, so box 4 is what I want to play over that if I want to go with that. Right? Well, that took too long. It just took too long. And so finally, I just remembered, okay, if I've got my root on the 5th string, it's box 4. And then all of a sudden, I could go straight there. That's what you need. And after a while, I got to the point where if I had a 4th string root, and I was only dealing in right facing at the time, and it was right facing and it started on the 4th string, I knew it was box 2, and I could just make that connection instantly. Okay, that's where we want to get you. Pick one spot and learn it and get to where you can make the connection instantly in that one spot. Maybe it's the root on the 5th string, maybe it's the root on the 2nd, maybe it's the 3rd, doesn't really matter. It is going to matter because as keys change, certain strings will be more or less convenient for you. But that's really all it boils down to. But pick a spot and practice that spot for a while and get it to where it's just like that, okay? After you've done a few different spots that way, you'll find that you can move around the fretboard much easier, you have a lot more options available to you, and you're not spending nearly so much time feeling lost, which is never a fun place to feel. Okay, so that's pretty much all I got today. Let's see, please post the link for the tool here in the chat. Sure, it is. Let me go through those links for you one more time. Yes, the How to Jam download. I have a monitor right up there, that's why I'm looking up. We have the 4-note solo, and the next one is, there you go, gobgu.com/blues scale tool. If somebody wants to type that into any of the chats, I will try to remember to put it in the comments on Facebook and or YouTube. Hey, Steve. very, very cool, man. Good to see you, buddy. Been a long time. All right, let's see. I think that is it for today. I don't see any questions that require my immediate attention. So, go use the tool, please. Please go use the tool. It's free. That's why I made it. Please go use it. Okay? That's it for today. As always, if you enjoy the video, share it with friends. Subscribe on YouTube, like, follow, post, love, whatever on Facebooks. I don't do Instagram. I'm not that cool. And that's all I can think of right now. So, by the way, just finished up our album, Griff Hamlin and the Single Barrel Blues Band. Just finished up recording last week. Those of you who may have seen some of my posts about it, very excited. We're going to have some new music coming your way very soon. So also stay tuned for that. And that's it for today. I will talk to you soon. Take care.